In fact, this graph, which is a little bit hard to read, shows that the red line is the economic growth of the top 1% of incomes in the United States over a very long period of time. And the blue line is the rest of us. That's what's happening in the United States. The rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer, and mechanisms of government are being set up to increase this disparity. Does that make a difference? Yes. Economic growth declines when the rich get that rich. The disparity between the rich and the poor in a country is a very good predictor of the future economic growth or decline of the country. A country that doesn't care about its poor and doesn't deal with its poverty winds up declining economically. So altruism actually makes sense. So there are vast consequences of low trust. And in fact, there's less voting, less social participation, less philanthropy, greater crime, lower longevity, poorer health, physical health, lower child achievement, and interventions in schools do not work as well in low trust regions. So if you have an intervention for schools, try it first in Minnesota before you go to Nevada. Large income gaps between the rich and the poor are one of the best indices of this low trust and predict economic prognosis in the future. High trust and altruism then are really smart. And trust is in the long-term self-interest as well. And this has now been generalized across countries. So, for example, Brazil, 2% of people say they trust other people. And in Norway, it's 65%. And if you take a look at the differences in the countries, for example, Korea is a place of very high trust, very low disparity between the rich and the poor, and there's full employment in Korea. Korea is building our nation's ships, our world's ships, and the economy is burgeoning. In India, $71 billion is allocated every year to feed the poor, and it's estimated that $1 billion of that makes it to the poor. Graft and corruption account for the other $70 billion. So here's the problem. What is trust? What do we mean by it? Is trust a trait? As it has been considered in psychology, a person is a trustworthy person. Is trust a belief that you have in relationships? Is trust a value? What is it? Does trust equal morality? And social capital research that I've been talking about never really defined trust when they ask people, do you trust other people? And because of that, if you don't define it, you can't change it. You don't have a technology for increasing trust. So I want to try to build trust brick by brick. And my goal is to be able to define trust and betrayal, a measure of it that is reliable and valid in any interaction, even a 15-minute interaction for a couple. And I turn to game theory to try to understand.